Good morning, all of you. So, in our previous class, we discussed about the potential energy. Just we introduced about the potential energy, and so now let us write the types of potential energy and then some related problems, and then we need to discuss about work energy theorem, right? And so then in our previous class, just we defined that potential energy as that potential energy as change in potential energy is equal to negative of work done by the conservative force there, right? So it is a basic relation, or which is nothing but U final minus U initial. The change in potential energy is nothing but. So this is equal to negative of work done by the conservative force. So as I said, while defining the potential energy, generally we consider that reference as infinity. So reference as infinity means at r tends to infinity, then u tends to u, that means u initial tends to 0. Now we can consider there. Therefore, this potential energy, now we can write this as u minus 0. Then this is minus of f bar dot dr bar. This work done by the conservative force means. And so then this value is from infinity to r. So this value now we can write there. And so which is nothing but our negative of work done by the conservative force what we are defining there, so that we can write this as work done by this conservative force. In that case, when you are taking that as infinite as it a reference, infinite as a reference for this potential energy, then potential energy for a position, or you can write that as negative of work done in bringing the particle from infinity to this position or here. This initial position is infinite, from infinity to that r. Like for example, if a particle, if you are taking it is initially at infinite distance, that means let us say it is in the space. Now we are bringing that particle slowly, and if you are placing at a distance r from the center of the earth, then what is the amount of work done by this gravity is there? That amount of work done will be equal to negative of that amount of work done will be equal to potential energy of that. So then actually such a type of calculations we will discuss in that gravitation topic. So just here basically you need to remember this relation here. The change in potential energy is equal to negative of work done by this. If you are taking this limit, then you can also write this potential energy is equal to negative of work done by this conservative force, you can write there. So in general we take that reference as that infinity, right? So then I hope all of this, that means up to this we mentioned already in our last class. Now I am introducing these types of these potential energies here. So then here, as I said, we define the potential energy for this conservative force. So the conservative forces which we generally we come across is gravitational force and electrostatic force and the spring force. But as I said, the electrostatic force is not required in this. Then we will discuss that in 12th class. So then we can discuss only here this gravitational potential energy and elastic potential energy. So I am writing about first now gravitational potential energy here. So gravitational potential energy. So now while defining this gravitational potential energy, simply we need some reference there to define this gravitational potential energy. And so then if the body is at a height of h from this reference level, let's suppose this, let it be the reference level here. So this is the reference level I am taking here. So now if the object is above this reference level, if the object is say at a height of h above this reference level here, then amount of work done in placing this object here, amount of work done by the gravity from the surface of the ground. For example, if you are rising the object by a distance of h, then our potential energy what we are writing is negative of work done by this conservative force here. So then potential energy is nothing but negative of work done. The amount of work done in lifting the object from reference level to this position is, this work done is nothing but minus mgh. Work done by the gravity in lifting the object to the height h, right? And so that then this potential energy you can write this as mgh. So that means simply now what we can say there is, so this is nothing but now potential energy of this object here, gravitational potential energy of this object. When the object is at a height of h above the reference level, then you can say that its gravitational potential energy is mgh, you can say. And actually, strictly speaking, this is not the potential energy of this object at that position. This is the change in potential energy. Now actually you can say that when it is moving from, when it is lifted from this reference level to that point, to that height. But actually in this we can consider that as a potential energy here. In gravitation, once the gravitation is completed, then you will get more clarity about this gravitation potential energy. So as of now in mechanics, that means in mechanics you can consider that as potential energy means if it is above the reference level by a distance of h, then it is plus mgh. So I will mention that points. So write that. So just mention some points there. Therefore, to write the gravitational potential energy of any object, first we need to choose a reference level. Which is our choice. That means any level you can take it as reference. That means generally in lower class you may think that ground is taken as a reference, ground level. Any level you may take it as a reference level. So that that is the thing here. Next, when the object is above the reference level, by a distance h, when object is above the reference level by a distance h, then its potential energy is positive and is given by mgh. Let us take this is the position A, and next on the reference level I am taking here, this is the position B, and next I am taking that below this reference level, this is the position C. So at the position A, then this is the potential energy. Next, when it is on the reference level, when the object is on the reference level, then potential energy is 0. Next, when the object is below the reference level by a distance h, then gravitational potential energy is minus mgh. Right, so that means above the reference means positive, below the reference means negative, then on the reference means it is 0, we need to consider there. So it is a reference levels there, right? And then next year mention that means it's a common point regarding that potential energy. Potential energy here, whenever you are defining the potential energy of the system, it is not confined to any object there. Like if you are defining the potential energy of this object, it is not belongs to the potential energy of only this object. It is the potential energy, gravitational potential energy of that object and the earth. It will be confined, it will be associated with that both the objects there. You can't give any, that means you can't allot that energy to any one of this object there. So it is a energy of the both the objects there. When both the objects are present, then only this amount of energy is there. For example, if this block is not there, then this amount of energy is not there. Similarly, if earth is not there, then this amount of energy is not there, right? So it is the energy associated by that system. It is confined to that energy of that system there. So that is simple thing about this gravitational potential energy. Is it clear? So we need to choose a reference level. Any level you can take it as a reference level. There is no any restriction for that. Any level you can consider as a reference. So if the object is on that level, we need to take it as potential energy as 0. When the object is above the reference level, then it is plus mgh. When it is below the reference level, then it is minus mgh, right? So while solving some problems, you will get the clarity about that. And then next let us write about the spring potential energy. So spring potential energy. Now for the spring potential energy, you can simply write this as like suppose let us consider that spring is undergoing some elongation here. The spring undergoes some elongation x from its mean position there. Let's suppose it is under elongation of x. Then work done by the spring force, we can write that as work done by spring force to produce this elongation. So that means work done by the spring force is nothing but minus of kx square we can write, right? So where k is the spring constant of this. And here what we know is We know this potential energy or the change in potential energy is equal to negative of work done by the conservative force, or which is nothing but here that conservative force is nothing but the spring force here. So that the spring potential energy, what we can write there is minus of kx square you can write. Is it clear? And therefore this spring potential energy you can write this as half kx square. So this is the spring potential energy there. So work done by the spring force is minus of kx square, and potential energy stored in the spring will be plus half kx square you will get. So this is the spring potential energy here. So then spring potential energy is always positive you will get. Spring potential energy is positive, which is given by half kx square you can write. Is it clear? So that means these are the two expressions regarding the potential energy you need to remember here. Gravitational potential energy and the spring potential energy. Gravitational potential energy is just we need to consider the height of this object, and for extended objects actually we need to consider the center of mass. After completing the center of mass you will get the clarity about that for extended objects. Like for the rod means for the center of mass means for the regular objects you can take the center of the total mass of the object is located at the center. I will explain that in some points there. So then just mgh you need to remember there, and for this you need to write this as half k x square, where k is the spring constant and x is the elongation or compression produced in the spring. When the spring is either elongated or compressed, then it will some energy will be stored in that. That energy is nothing but this. So you may mention that where x is the compression or elongation produced in the spring. That means I draw the diagram for this elongation. So it is not only for the elongation, for elongation or compression. So there you may mention that points there. Potential energy is defined only for conservative force. Potential energy is defined only for conservative forces. Next, potential energy is not confined to any one of the object. Potential energy is not confined to any one of the object. It is associated with all the objects in the system. It is associated with all the objects in the system. Like if two objects are there, then it is for both the objects there. If more objects are interacting, then you can say that it is energy of that entire system. So that is the thing here. And we will discuss more about the gravitational potential energy in the gravitation topic. Once the gravitation is completed, then we can write that gravitational potential energy. You will get more clarity about that. Here what we discussed is that is not actually that is only the change in gravitational potential energy there. So here you can write that formula as potential energy means mgh you can write. The actual expression we will discuss in the gravitation topic, right? And so now here so next let us write some problems based on this here. So I will give a simple problem here, potential energy calculation. So I am taking an object like this. So here a chain is placed like this here. So this is a hemispherical bowl here. Now a chain is placed like this. A chain of mass m and length L. So write that. This radius of this hemisphere is r. So write that problem. A uniform chain of mass m and length L. A uniform chain of mass m and length L is placed on the top of hemispherical bowl of radius r as shown in figure. Find the potential energy of the chain with respect to the center of the hemisphere. So if the total object is at the height r, then we can write the potential energy as mgr. But now it is not like that. The total chain is not at one location there. So it is extended object is there. So that means in such a cases what we can write there is we can take a small element and then you can write the potential energy of the small element there. So that means here I am taking the small element here. So this angle I am taking as theta, so that this angle is theta. So this is a small element what we are taking here. So let us take this mass as dm now, mass of that small element. So first I will write that dm value. So dm value is nothing but m by L into mass per unit length into length of that chain. So that length of that chain we can write this as r d theta. So this is our expression for this dm value, right? And then next the potential energy of that small element I am writing here. So potential energy of small element. Can you say the potential energy of small element with respect to the center? That they are in the question, they are already mentioned their difference there. So that means now suppose it is at a height of this location here, at a height of h with respect to the center. Then potential energy of the small element, what we can write, this is dm into g into that height h you need to write. And that h value you can write this as r cos theta we can write, right? So it is r cos theta. So du is equal to m by L into r d theta into g into this value is r cos theta. So now we can integrate this equation here. Therefore, this total potential energy is U is equal to integral of mg r square by L into cos theta into d theta. Now the theta varies from some 0 to phi, you may consider there, where phi means I will define that. Phi is nothing but this maximum angle here. That maximum angle subtended by that, I will define that. So therefore this is mg r square by L into then integral of cos theta d theta from 0 to phi. Cos theta integration is sin theta. So this is mg r square by L into sin theta, and limits are from 0 to phi. Therefore this potential energy is mg r square by L into this value we can write that as sin phi, and where that phi is given by, where phi is nothing but length of the chain by radius, you can write there r by L, L by r, length of the total angle here, the total angle subtended by this chain there. So that means then in that case what we can write there is L is phi is equal to, that means length of arc by radius we can write. So L by r I can write there, right? So that is our phi value there. Yeah. So that is that phi value. So if for example, if sometimes they may give that the chain is extended until this bottom, then let us consider that. So now let us write the energy in that case. So just mention that our question is up to here only. Like therefore you can write this expression as mg r square by L into sin of L by r. Now we can write. Now suppose if what I am taking there is if suppose L is equal to pi r by 2, that means then in that case this chain will be extended till this bottom here, right? So that means pi L by 2 means then chain will be extended until here, this point. So then chain will be extended until this. Then this value what we can write there is, so therefore this potential energy in that case is mg r square by L. L is nothing but pi r by 2 into this value, now we will get this as sin pi by 2. Right? That means L is pi r by 2 by r. So that is nothing but sin pi by 2 you will get. And therefore this potential energy what we can write there is 2 mg r by pi you can write. So that is our potential energy there, right? So it's the potential energy of the system in this case. For this case, when L is equal to r, when L is less than, that means when L is equal to pi r by 2, when L is less than this pi r by 2, you will get this. So now this is nothing but actually here 2r by pi is nothing but we call center of mass there, that we will discuss it later. Center of mass means the mass, the point where the total mass can be assumed to be concentrated. If once that center of mass concept is completed for us, then no need of doing this entire derivation here. We know the center of mass location for this semicircular wire. So for that semicircular wire, you can write the center of mass location, and from that you can write this value there. That means either for 1/4 of the chain, you can write the center of mass location, and from that center of mass location, you can directly write this potential energy there. Directly mgh you can write. So that is advantage once that center of mass concept is completed for us, right? So that is, if without center of mass concept, this is the way of calculating here. We need to take a small element and then we need to write the potential energy of this element. And now in a similar way, suppose if I ask like a rod is placed vertically, for example here. A rod is placed vertically, a rod of length L and mass M is placed vertically. If I ask what is the potential energy of that system? Now potential energy with respect to that surface, with respect, that means by taking the surface as a reference, then what is the potential energy of this object? So if suppose if a block is placed at a height of L, for example, if a block of mass M is placed at a height of L, then you can write its potential energy as mgl, you can write. But for this you can't write like that, because the mass is there in contact with that and the mass is there distributed throughout this length here. Then you can't write directly mgl. So for that objects only, for such objects only, we need to consider that center, where the height of the center you need to consider there. So then height of the center is nothing but this one, so which is at a distance of L by 2. Actually that is nothing but we call center of mass there. So height of the center we need to consider. So here height of the center is L by 2. Then potential energy of this rod we need to write this as mg L by 2. So whenever extended objects are given, extended object means like this rod, chain, for this type of problems. Whenever such a type of problems are there, so remember this. We need to write the center of that object, we need to write there. Height means instead of that h, we need to write the height of center of that portion we need to write. Is it clear? So that is the thing we need to remember here while writing this potential energy. I will introduce this work energy theorem. After that you can discuss some more problems related to this potential energy calculations. So here I can write this as potential work energy theorem here. So work energy theorem, which is most important in this mechanics. That means this is the one of the most powerful tool in physics here. So that means for most of the problems related to mechanics, we can solve with the help of this work energy theorem. And the advantage of this is there is no any restriction for this. There is no restriction where you can apply, where you can't apply. There is no any such a restrictions in this work energy theorem. We can prove this work energy theorem in different ways there. So then I will explain like our derivation similar to that of kinetic energy, so that you can understand that easily. So first of all, this work energy theorem is nothing but if a large number of forces are acting on this object there, then the sum of work done by all those forces is equal to the change in kinetic energy of this object. So if two or more forces are acting on this object, or either one or more, I can say even one or more forces are acting on this object, then the sum of work done by all those forces is equal to change in kinetic energy. Or I can say this net work done by the net force is equal to change in kinetic energy, we can write there. So that means work done by all forces is equal to change in kinetic energy. Or I can write this as work done by this net force is equal to change in kinetic energy. So as we are writing change in kinetic energy means we need to mention it as final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. First write the statement there. Work energy theorem states that work done by net force, work done by net force, or work done by sum of all work done by net force, or sum of work done by all forces is equals to the is equals to the change in kinetic energy, is equal to the change in kinetic energy. So you can write like this: work done by all forces, you can write it as change in kinetic energy, or work done by this net force is equal to change in kinetic energy. That means you can find the resultant of all those forces, then a single force you will get, then work done by that force you can calculate there, right? So that is the thing here. Now let us see the proof for this. That is the statement. So now let us see the proof for this work energy theorem. So we can prove it in different ways. So I am taking the procedure like similar to that of our kinetic energy there. So similar to that of our kinetic energy means here let us take a block of mass m is placed on this horizontal surface. Now there is some net force acting on this here. The net force F is acting here. So that initial velocity of the object is u. Now after traveling some distance, then its velocity will become v. So that is the thing what we are assuming here. This is the net force here. I am taking this as the net force, right? And so now work done by this net force I am writing here. So the work done by this net force means I can write this as so the net force is equal to MA we can write. So now work done by the net force. Work done by net force. This is integral of F into ds into cos theta we can write, or cos 0. And so this is net force. And so there it is work done by this. This is again work done by the net force we are writing here. So write it this as W net. So this is work done by the net force. And therefore this work done by the net force is equal to, now F net means we can substitute this value here, integral of M into A into ds. So A value we can write this as integral of M into V into dV by ds I can write. We know acceleration can be written like this, right? So V into dV by dt into ds. So the ds will be cancelled. So the work done by this net force is equal to M into integral of V into dV. Now we can write. So this ds and ds term will be cancelled. So now this is V into dV. The integration we need to write. So the limits are from u to v, initial velocity to the final velocity. So therefore this is net work done is equal to M into I can write this as half m v square minus half m u square, right? So therefore this is net work done is equal to final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy there. So that is nothing but our work energy theorem. Work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. Work done by all forces or work done by the net forces is equal to change in kinetic energy. So that is a proof for that. Just note that. And after that here mention some points related to this. So just mention that work energy theorem is applicable for all type of forces. Like that means all type of forces in the sense whether the forces may be conservative force or non-conservative force, you can apply this work energy theorem there. Or whether the forces may be internal force or external force, you can apply this work energy theorem, right? So that mention that clearly there. That is, it can be applied for work conservative or non-conservative forces. Work done by the conservative force plus work done by the non-conservative force is equal to the change in kinetic energy you can write. That means when you are separating the forces as conservative or non-conservative forces. And whereas if you are separating that forces as internal and external forces, so then you can express this as work done by the internal forces plus work done by the external forces is equal to change in kinetic energy you can write, right? Either that means whatever the classifications are there, you can do that classification, and work done for all forces you need to include there. Simply whatever the type of force is acting, you need to write work done by all forces. Sum of the forces, that means for some of the forces work done may be 0, then just we will substitute that 0 value there, right? The forces may act and the displacement will be there, but still work done by the sum of the forces will be 0. So then we need to substitute that work done by that forces, that particular force is 0 in that. The remaining forces may do some work, right? And here the thing is work done by the non-inertial, that means work done, that means if you are applying this work energy theorem in non-inertial frame, in this form directly we can say that it is applicable for only inertial frame, because we are writing this second law here, Newton's second law, which is valid only in the inertial frame. But if you want to make it valid in non-inertial frame, you know, we need to consider the pseudo force. So therefore, whenever you are applying this in a non-inertial frame, you need to apply this, you need to consider the work done by the pseudo force there also. The next mention the point here, work energy theorem is applicable in both inertial and non-inertial frame. In both inertial and non-inertial frames. But while applying in non-inertial frame, we should also consider work done by the pseudo force. That means in that case what we can write there is work done by the real forces plus work done by the pseudo force. Pseudo force is equal to, then change in kinetic energy we need to write. That means real forces, work done by the real forces we need to consider, like a gravitation, friction or normal reaction or tension. Whatever the real force are there, that real forces, and in addition to that you need to consider the pseudo force. So work done by the real forces plus work done by the pseudo force is equal to change in kinetic energy we need to write. So this work energy theorem here, right? So this is the most important thing, most important principle in this physics here, because there is no any restriction. For all type of forces we can apply, and in all frame of references we can apply with that limitation. Like when you are applying in non-inertial frame, we need to consider the work done by the pseudo force. Without taking this, you can't apply it in non-inertial frame. It is then if you are not considering this, then you can't apply this non-inertial frame. You will get the wrong answer. Then after this, write a note. So write a note here. That means sometimes there will be questions like body is displaced slowly. So whenever body is displaced slowly, then that change in kinetic energy we need to consider it as zero. That is the most important point in this problems related to this work energy theorem here. Body is, they will mention like body is displaced slowly. When body is displaced slowly, you need to consider that work done by this the change in kinetic energy is zero. It is displaced slowly means speed of the particle is not changing. At any instant the body is in equilibrium only, so it is not accelerating, which indicates that it is not speed of the object is not changing, and so that change in kinetic energy will be zero. And some problems will be there like work done by the conservative force and some external force will be there. Like if you are lifting a block, then the body is displaced slowly. Then such a type of questions will be there. So write that. When a body is displaced under the action of an external force and a conservative force, when a body is displaced very slowly, mention that, add that sentence also. When a body is displaced very slowly under the action of an external force and a conservative force, then work energy theorem can be written as so work done by conservative force plus work done by this external force is equal to change in kinetic energy. So as I said, whenever body is displaced slowly, change in kinetic energy is zero. That's I am equating zero, or if you want, you may mention that whenever body is displaced slowly, change in kinetic energy is zero. Therefore, here what we can write there is work done by the conservative force plus work done by the external force is equal to zero. So this is the important thing here, right? And so then this is the important point what we can write there. And so then from this what we can write there is work done by the external force is equal to, So from this, work done by the external force is equal to negative of work done by the conservative force. But what we know is change in kinetic energy is change in potential energy is equal to negative of work done by the conservative force. This we mentioned already. So then if you can equate there, therefore what we can write there is work done by the external agent means this is equal to change in potential energy. U final minus U initial you can write. So this is the case when body is displaced very slowly, when there is no any gain in kinetic energy. Work done by the external agent means then you need to calculate that simply change in potential energy of the system we need to write. And whereas we know already work done by the conservative force means negative of change in potential energy. So which is U initial minus U final you need to write for this work done by the conservative force if you want to write. This we know already. Now additionally now I am saying this one. So whenever body is displaced slowly then you can use this relation here. Right. So then this is very important here. There will be a lot of questions based on this. So I will give some of the examples here. And whenever they are asking just find the work done means then we need to find work done by the external agent only. If the question is about work done by this conservative force, they will like gravitational force or the spring force, they will specially ask to find the work done by that conservative force. So but here work done means only work done by this work done means work done by the external force we need to calculate. In the question is just to find the work done, if they ask we need to find work done by the external force. So now let us see this. Some applications based on this, the applications related to this. So then here I am taking a case like a uniform rod is placed on this ground here. Now our question will be there like what is the amount of work done in lifting this rod or placing this rod in vertical position here. It's a rod of mass m and length L. Just mention that point there. So applications of this, what we are mentioning here, I will say like point wise some points. A uniform rod of mass m and length L is placed on the horizontal surface. A uniform rod of mass m and length L is placed on the horizontal surface. The amount of work done in placing the rod in vertical position as shown is given by the amount of work done. Just we are turning to this position here. From this position we are changing to this position. The amount of work done in placing the rod in vertical position as shown is given by. So work done by the external agent, you need to write this as change in potential energy. So which is final potential energy minus initial potential energy. So simply here what we can write there is final potential energy is mg L by 2. So for this I said already now previously we need to take this height of this center here. So which is L by 2. For extended objects we need to take this height of the center of mass we need to consider there. So then initial potential energy is 0 because we are taking it as a thin rod. So for thin rod there is no initial potential energy. If it is given as a thick then you need to consider that. So then this is work done by this external agent is mg L by 2 now we can write. So that is amount of work done there. So no need of any additional calculations here. Just by writing the potential energy you can write this work done calculations here. Now for the same example if the case is considered like this. So for the same example if I am taking like it is a thick like a cylindrical arrangement if I consider there, if the radius is also given there, right. Now this cylinder is placed like this. Now the amount of work done for this. Now it is of radius r. The radius is also mentioned here, for example length L, mass m and radius r. Then initially also you need to take the potential energy there. So initially the center means it will be here. So then it is at a height of r from this. Now finally it will be here, the center of mass that we call, which is at a distance of L by 2 from here. So now let us see this change in potential energy now. So then work done for this case will be final potential energy minus initial potential energy. So then final potential energy is mg L by 2. So its the height of the center is mg L by 2. Now initial potential energy is not 0 here. mg into r now we need to consider that, right? So it is the thing there when radius is given and radius is not given. And in the same case sometimes they will mention like the another additional object is placed here. That means this is a rod, thin rod only. This is now an additional object of a small block of mass capital M is attached here. So the rod is there here. For this rod, a block is attached at this one end. Now this rod is placed in vertical position like this. So now this rod is placed. That block is a small block only, so that you can neglect the dimensions of this block there. So now that is the thing here. Now the work done in this by placing this rod in this position here. So now again we need to write the change in potential energy. So our change in potential energy is this work done by the external potential energy minus initial potential energy we need to write. Now the final potential energy is nothing but, for this rod it is mg L by 2 like our previous one, mg L by 2. For the rod you need to consider this center, so which is L by 2. Now for this block also now we need to consider this potential energy here. So for this block that potential energy is mgl. That block is at a height of L from our reference, so it is mgl. This is the final potential energy minus initial potential energy is 0. So that there is nothing but our work done there, right? So like that you need to write this work done expressions there. And based on this there will be a lot of problems related to chain. So now let us write that case here. So like here a chain is hanging like this. A chain is hanging here. A chain of length L and mass M is hanging like this. Is it clear? This is a chain of mass M and length L. So now our question is this lower end of the chain is also connected to the ceiling. Then amount of work done we need to write. So just mention that a uniform chain of mass M and length L is hanging from the ceiling. The amount of work done in connecting this other end of the chain also to the ceiling. The amount of work done in connecting the other end of chain to the ceiling. Like this we are connecting here. So this gap is negligible. We are connecting almost near to the initial point. So that means now amount of work done for this purpose now we need to calculate here. So then in this what I am doing is to find the work done, again we need to calculate the change in potential energy only. That is only our procedure here. So that means external work done by the external agent is equal to change in potential energy. In any one of these problem, if they ask work done by the gravity, you need to take this negative sign. Negative of this value we need to write. That we mentioned already previously. So now to write this what I am taking there is I am dividing the chain into two parts there. So this length you can take it as L by 2. This total chain here, right? This chain, this part of the chain. And so now for this part I am taking that as a two parts now. This part I am taking as chain of length L by 2 and its mass is M by 2. And this part it is again L by 2 and its mass is M by 2, right? This other part. So now I am taking it as a two parts now. For this parts the center will be here. So now finally also the center will remains there only, right? So from that what I can say is for this part there is no any change in potential energy. So when you are dividing the change into parts like this, right? So then only change in potential energy is there for this. And so now while writing this potential energy you can take this level as a reference here. This I am taking as a reference level, right? So now our center of mass are below the reference level, so that you will get as that potential energy is as negative. You may consider that any level as a reference, that is our choice. You may try that problem by taking any level as any other levels as a reference. And therefore this external work done what we can write there is final potential energy I am writing. So only potential energy of this part I am taking here. So then for this part the center will be L by 4 from this. And similarly here from this it is L by 4. Half of this length, right? Now the final potential energy of this is M by 2, mass of this part is M by 2 into G, sorry it is minus we need to consider because we are taking below the reference level, L by 4, its center of mass is or its center is at a distance of L by 4 below the reference level, minus again initial potential energy is also negative, so it is minus M by 2 into G into its center from the reference level we need to write. From the reference level it is L by 2 plus L by 4. So which is 3L by 4. So that is initial potential energy of this system, this part. This part there is no change here, so that I am not writing. Even if you write it will be cancelled. So then this value is minus mg L by 8 minus of minus plus you will get 3 mg L by 8, and therefore work done by this sectional agent will be there like mg L by 4 you will get. So that is work done by this external agent here. So another chain problem will be there like a chain is hanging from the table. So a chain of length hanging from the table, then work done in placing the chain onto the table. Like this is, let us consider a table here. So uniform chain of mass m and length L is hanging like this. Suppose I am giving that L by n, the total length is m and L. So I am taking that L by n length is hanging here. This length is L by n I am taking here. 1 by nth of the total length is hanging. Now the amount of work done in placing the total chain onto the table, now we need to answer. So just mention that point there. A uniform chain of mass m and length L, a uniform chain of mass m and length L is hanging from the table, such that is placed on the table, such that 1 by nth of its length is hanging. 1 by nth of its length is hanging from the table. The amount of work done in placing the total chain onto the table. The amount of work done in placing the total chain onto the table is given by. That means we want to pull the total chain onto the table slowly. All these cases are slowly only. So now for this again our work done means we need to write like work done by this sectional agent is equal to change in potential energy, final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Initially the situation is there like this, and finally our situation is the total chain is on the table only. Right? This will be the final situation here. So then let us take this as a reference level here. The table itself I am taking as a reference level. Is it clear? So then final potential energy, you can say it as final potential energy of that system is 0. So that this final potential energy is 0 because finally the chain is on the table. Next, initial potential energy, now we need to write. The initial potential energy of this part of the chain is again 0 because this part is already on the table. Now only this part there will be some initial potential energy will be there, and that potential energy will be negative, we can say, because it is below the reference level. So to write the potential energy of this part, we need to consider the center of that hanging part there. So center of this hanging part will be here. So which is at a distance of L by 2n, we can write half of this. So this length we can consider it as L by 2n, right? And so now potential energy of this part I am writing here. The potential energy of that part if I write, then its value is nothing but mass of that part will be m by n. I am directly writing that. Mass of that part means you need to write this as m by L, mass per unit length, into length of that part you need to write L by n. So that it is nothing but m by n. Mass of that part, hanging part, into g into, it is negative. Because it is below the reference level, then potential energy is negative. And this distance of the center from this reference level is L by 2n. Is it clear? Final potential energy, this problem is important in this work power energy topic. Many questions will be there related to this chain. We will discuss it later. And so now this is a chain of, that means final potential energy is 0 because finally total chain is on the table. Now the initial potential energy we are taking like this. Initial potential energy is, now the potential energy of this part is 0. Only for this part that potential energy will be there, right? So that potential energy we are writing here. So that therefore this work done we can write this as work done by the external agent is equal to mgl by 2n square, now we can write. So is it clear? So it is work done by this force here, 2n square. So this is work done in that case. Now there may be questions like what will be the, so based on the same question here, they will ask a question like what will be the speed of the chain when the total chain is slips from the table. That is not related to this, just work energy theorem application there. Just you may mention that if the suppose the chain starts slipping here, if the chain starts slipping, what will be the speed of the chain when the chain lose the contact with the table, when chain just to lose the contact with the table? Just mention that question there. You may write that problem. A uniform chain of length L and mass M is placed on a smooth table, is placed on a smooth horizontal table such that one third of its length is hanging from the table. I am taking this length as 1/3 L by 3. 1/3 of its length is hanging from the table. If the chain is released from rest, find the speed of the chain, when last link of the chain lose the contact with the table. Last link of the chain lose the contact with the table. Last link of the chain lose the contact with the table. That means just it completely slips off of the table there. That our meaning is, right? And so for this, now for this type of questions, now the kinetic energy is involved here. So I can write this work energy theorem here. Work done by all force is equal to change in kinetic energy, I can write. Right? And so now this is nothing but work done by the gravity. The remaining force is normal reaction will be there, but work done by the normal reaction will be 0. So then this will be equal to final kinetic energy half mv square minus initial kinetic energy is 0. Now work done by the gravity we need to calculate here. Here work done by this normal reaction will be 0, because you can observe that normal reaction will be there like this and the displacement of the chain will be there like this. So they are perpendicular to each other, so that work done by that normal reaction will be 0. And now work done by the gravity we need to calculate here. So while writing this work done by the gravity, then simplest way is I can write this, it is a negative of change in potential energy I can write, or which is nothing but initial potential energy minus final potential energy, minus of that value. And therefore this value I can write this as, this is suppose say equation 1. Therefore from equation 1 what we can write there is u initial minus u final plus 0. This is work done by the gravity plus work done by the normal reaction is equal to half mv square you can write. Now work done in these values, now we can substitute here initial potential energy and final potential energy. Initial potential energy is this one. Now again take the same reference there. So now I am substituting this initial potential energy minus m by 3 into, this is the mass of hanging part, L by 3 we are taking, so mass of this part is m by 3 into g into, this value will be L by 6, right? Half of this we need to consider. Now this part is L by 6, now we need to consider. Now the final potential energy we need to write minus of final potential energy means this will be the final situation there. So final situation means the center will be there here whose distance is L by 2 from the reference. So that its value is minus mg into total chain is hanging now. So the total mass now we need to write minus mg into L by 2. So this is equal to half mv square now we can write. And so then simplify that, you will get this velocity of this train here. So then half mv square is equal to, so this value I can write this as mg L by 2 minus 3 mg L by 18. So that this is v square is equal to gl, I can take common here, gl minus or this is gl by 3. That means 1 2 will be cancelled here. 9 you will get, and 3 by 9 means that is 3. So therefore this v is equal to gl of, this is 2 by 3 you will get, root of 2gl by 3. So this will be the speed of the chain when the last link of the chain lose the contact with the table, right? So like that if friction is there, then also we can calculate there. Then other applications based on this work energy theorem I will explain in the next class. Just related to this that concept what I explained, work done by external force plus work done by this conservative force is equal to 0 when the body is displaced slowly. That means until that only we completed that applications. Actual applications based on the work energy theorem I will explain in that next class. So that means for this weekend the syllabus will be until this part here, until this concept here, right? So the actual applications based on the work power and work energy theorem I will explain it later. A simple questions may be there based on the work energy theorem. You need to practice that. related to potential energy, kinetic energy and work done. And from the previous circular motion also few questions will be there. From the circular motion, horizontal circular motion, and then this work power energy until this, right? Thank you.